Hey, Rick D here, and I'm going to give you my top 5 rock and roll guitarists of all time. Now this is my top 5, who I think the top 5 are. And it might differ a little bit from what maybe the general consensus is, or maybe even what your top 5 guitar players of all time. Alright, so coming in at number 5, and he's higher on a lot of other lists, but I got him at number 5, and that is none other than Eric Clapton. So Eric, of course, if you're familiar with guitar players, he's considered one of the best. You know, he's a blues-based guitar player, started out with the Yardbirds, at least the first band that was really big. He left them to jump to John Mayall's group. After that, he jumped from there to Cream, his supergroup, in the late 60s, which was only around for a couple of years, and then he went into Blind Faith, which was not that long either, and then he went into Derek and the Dominoes, which is pretty much the launch of Eric's solo career. So why isn't he higher on my list? Well, there's a couple of reasons why. One is he collaborated a lot for his greatest hits. Let's look at Layla, for example. Maybe one of the greatest rock and roll songs of all time. Well, it wouldn't have been what it was if it wasn't for Duane Allman, who was there playing in concert. They invited him into the studio and he said, hey, let's speed this thing up and let's add this. So, you know, it's a great song, but Eric needed a little bit of help there. Crossroads, probably one of Eric's greatest live performances, is a cover. And it's a great rendition, but he didn't write it. So, not taking anything away from Eric Clapton's ability as a guitar player. He's an amazing blues-based guitar player, and I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. And in fact, I think check out actually his best live performance, at least in my opinion, my wife's opinion too, best live performance ever, Eric Clapton for the Concert for George, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. It's the best I've seen Clapton play, just live. He's in the flow. And everybody else, you watch everybody else in the video and they're all like, oh my goodness, this is an amazing, amazing moment. And if you go see that video and tell me that that's not his best, truly is. So I'm going to play a little Clapton-esque riff here. Next on my list, so number 4, we got Eric Clapton, now we got number 4 on my list. And I'm gonna catch flack for this one, most certainly, because this guy's number 1 on pretty much everybody else's list. But I have him at number 4, and that's Mr. Jimi Hendrix. So there's no denying Jimi Hendrix's impact on the guitar, on guitar players throughout history. He busted onto the scene and was truly different. He took the instrument to a lot of different places sonically that a lot of guitar players had not done before. And some of those sonic landscapes that he explored, not really my taste, a lot of the feedback. I mean, I think he's brilliant. The Star Spangled Banner is a great example of it. I think it's a great rendition, and then it just kind of goes off the rails for me. And maybe that was the point of it. But for me, there's other songs that he did that I liked a lot better. And then, to be honest, there's a lot of people who've covered Hendrix songs that I like the covers better. Stevie Ray Vaughan's version of Voodoo Child is one of my favorites. I think it's excellent. Jimmy was a man of his time, though. And unfortunately, it was a short time. That's why he's not higher on my list. He was only about 3 years where he was active. Imagine if he was still alive today. Where would he have taken the guitar if he'd have stayed with us? And it's kind of sad that we don't have that. So I got him at number 4 because of that. So I'm going to attempt some Hendrix. coming in at number 3. My personal fave, and if this is any indication, you know who I'm talking about here. I wouldn't be playing guitar if it wasn't for this man and this man's music. Another revolutionary like Hendrix, he took the guitar to the next level, introduced some techniques that were maybe not, well, they were truly innovative, and where he took them, and people started to copy him. And in the 80s, age of shredders wouldn't have happened without Mr. Eddie Van Halen. And just his approach to the instrument, his approach to getting what he wanted out of guitar and tweaking amps. He was really pushing that tone, pushing that sound to get what he wanted from the instrument on a lot of different levels. And he wrote some really good music that I really liked. And he was able to survive at least 2 lead singer changes. The third one maybe not so much, but he wrote some good stuff, and just amazing guitar player. And a lot of us wouldn't be here without him. I think, taking an epic moment, there's so many, and you could say Eruption is his signature moment. But I'm going to go to a little lesser known for his guitar heroics. But an epic moment, I was listening the other day to the solo in Right Now. It's pretty much blues pentatonic riff around in that, and it's just a great solo. It fits the song. It fits in nicely. He takes you, it's frenetic, but it's also melodic, and it's a great solo. Go and listen to that. Go, yeah, man, that guy was pretty darn good. We already know he's pretty good, but he's pretty darn good. And we miss him because we're not going to get any new music from Van Halen now. Good thing is we're getting some new music from his son Wolfgang, and he's got a great album that just was released. But we're missing you, Ed. And I'm going to now do some really bad Van Halen. So what I'm doing now is I'm tuning this thing to open G. And that should give you a hint of who this next guy is. Then it feels something to say I only got 5 strings. That should be another indication of who this is. So number 2 on my list. So let me recap. We got number 5, Eric Clapton. Number 4 was Mr. Jimi Hendrix. Number 3, Mr. Eddie Van Halen. And number 2 is Mr. Keith Richards, or Keith, of the Rolling Stones. Now, what can I say about Keith? He's known for his persona maybe off the stage as on, but we're going to focus on his on-stage performance and what he did for the guitar. He's still with us, and he is an icon, and he's a lot. And what a lot of people maybe don't realize is he was a trendsetter. In the early 60s, he did a lot of stuff before other people started doing it. Maybe he did it quietly, not much fanfare, but the fuzz box. He was the first one to really kind of break that and those effects, use of effects, in the future for satisfaction. He didn't use it afterwards, but he started that. He's also one of the first of the British guitar players to play the Les Paul. People don't know that, but it is before Clapton plugged his Les Paul into a Marshall. Keith had that Les Paul, and Clapton actually borrowed it, as did Jimmy Page borrowed Keith's Les Paul, and that Les Paul actually made its way into the hands of Mick Taylor, who later joined the Stones. So that's a pretty interesting story. But he's a great guitar player, innovator. His mentor was Chuck Berry. That's who he wanted to sound like. But he ended up sounding like Keith Richards. And then in the late 60s, he got introduced by Ry Cooder to open tunings, and specifically open G tuning. And it's not just a tuning for playing slide on, as we know from all the great riffs from the riff master Keith Richards, that he did an open G tuning. And once you kind of go there and kind of figure out open G, where it can take you, it opens up it opens up your palette and can actually spark that creativity. And I've noticed that. And I went down to 5 strings and open G tuning when I bought this Telecaster because of Keith. King of riffs. And one of the best riffs of all, in my opinion, is the one, the Jumpin' Jack Flash. Go back and listen to that one, the original studio recording. That's a great song. The riff is central and key to that, and it's a good example of Keith Richards and where he kind of took that open G. Although that one wasn't an open G, that was recorded in a different key, but he plays it live in open G. But let me see if I can. So you're thinking, all right, so Jimi Hendrix was there, Eric Clapton was there, Keith Richards, Eddie Van Halen won the spot. I know of a lot of good guitar players that could deserve that spot. Who's it going to be? And this might surprise you. The #1 spot is occupied by Chuck Berry. Yeah, Chuck Berry, the father of rock and roll. In the 50s, he started it all. Like I said, Keith Richards wanted to be Chuck Berry. The Beatles listened a lot to Chuck Berry. The man started it all. He played rhythm and he played lead. One guitar player in the band, that was Chuck Berry. There wouldn't be a lot of the rock and roll that we love today, probably, if it weren't for him. He's the father. And that's who my #1 is, because of the influence that he had on the instrument and on guitar players that followed from him. That's my reasoning. And I know a lot of others would say, well, that's, yeah, whatever that is. But that's my opinion. And that's the cool thing about this is it's my opinion. It's what I think. So 5, Eric Clapton. 4, Jimi Hendrix. 3, Eddie Van Halen. 2, Keith Richards. And #1, Chuck Berry. And if you want to listen Chuck Berry, Johnny Be Good, listen to that, and maybe you'll see why. There, but obviously I'm not going to play any copyrighted stuff. But so that's my top 5. Leave a comment below with your top 5, because I want to hear it. The cool thing about it is everybody's got an opinion of who they think the top 5, top 10 great guitar players of all time in rock and roll. And I'm going to give some honorable mentions here. So not in the top 5, obviously Jimmy Page. But I think also Brian May, another one, great guitar player. Carlos Santana, that's for you, Iron. Pete Townsend. You've got George Harrison. I would put Stevie Ray Vaughan as an honorable mention. Nuno Bettencourt, another one of my faves, as an honorable mention. But there are thousands of guitar players, great guitar players, and you might have a personal fave that you think needs to be in the top 5 or top 10, and that's cool, because we're all different, and we all love the instrument, we all love to play. So have a good one, and we'll see you around. And if you like this video, if you'd like to hit like, you can hit that, and I'd love it if you subscribed, and then maybe hit the bell and you'll get other notifications on when I release videos like this. So have a good one, take care, and keep playing and keep rocking.